we had. But I think we just worked together as a team, and at the end of the day, we had lost the last 2 years in a row to them. So I think we just had that extra bite in our belly. We weren't going in there on last Sunday to lose. We just couldn't again. We wouldn't have been able to turn up again next year, I'd say, if we'd lost again to Ailbees.
Yeah, and you seem to have hit the ground running since that final loss last year. Obviously, 3 wins in a row coming into the final. Was there anything different you've done this year, or more the same?
More the same, really. I just think when it comes down to, we're just maybe clicking better. I suppose everything's just coming together for us. Like, we're determination, just showing up on the day and everything. Like, I suppose a lot of it comes down to luck as well. And on the days, we've been very lucky in how we've been playing together, and everything has gone our way. So a lot of it just, I suppose, comes down to that.
Yeah, and you faced Ballylanders. I'm very familiar to you. You've obviously played them in a couple of semi-finals in recent years, finals in 17 and 18, so you know exactly what to expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose they beat us 1 year, and then we played them and beat them, and it's always a battle up against Ballylanders. And the last 2 years, we've had a great battle against them in the semi-finals. So no doubt it'll absolutely be a challenge on Sunday. But as you said, like, we know each other, we know the strengths and the weaknesses, and hopefully it'll be a great fight in the day. But I'm hoping we'll come out on top, all going well.
Yeah, and it's a quick turnaround from the semi-final, Yvonne. You've only had a week. What's the week been like in the camp?
Yeah, it's been good. Like, there's great excitement, like, in the week that's in it, and I suppose the excitement after winning on Sunday, it carried on in training. But heads are down now. Like, there's, as I said, we won, yes, on Sunday, but it wasn't what we are looking to end it on. We want to win the title, and we had to knuckle down, work on little things, and concentrate on our strengths again and our weaknesses. And I suppose it's just been, there's real excitement and, I suppose, determination that we hopefully will do it this year.
And it's obviously your fifth successive final. There's must be huge experience in the camp. Is that something that's kind of easing you into it?
Definitely, yeah. Like, I suppose the last 5 years we've been in the final, but I suppose we still have won. Is it in the last 5 years? So, like, we have the experience of it, but unfortunately not the winning experience. So, but it will, like, it is great experience at the end of the day, to the pressure. And, like, we have a lot of older girls in the team, but we've younger girls as well. So I suppose we can support each other and try and get rid of the nerves that would be there, and understand it. So at the end of the day, it's just another game.
And it's the game's been played in the Gaelic grounds. How important is it for you that the showpiece event of your year is going to be on in Limerick Showpiece Stadium?
Oh, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. When we heard it, like, it added to the excitement. It's great for women's sport, I suppose, that it's just getting the recognition that it deserves. And, like, overall, it's excellent that we get to be in the main grounds, and that, I suppose, it's being respected as well, that we're able to compete at this level, and we should be respected, that we getting the respect that we deserve and the recognition that the boys sports get. So it adds to it, and it just really adds to the excitement, and it makes, I suppose, just like, it adds to everything really, and it just makes it feel so much better.
And the game's been streamed as well. I suppose that's more recognition for the work being done underage levels in Limerick ladies football.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like, this year, I think there's been a huge work done with Limerick ladies football. Like, even when it comes down to the advertisement and the social media side, like, it's really been put out there, and you can see it, that, like, a lot of people know about the match who may not have known about them, and know about all the games through social media. And, like, the simple thing of streaming it, it allows people who can't go to the match to watch it, and it makes a huge difference for us playing sport. Like, again, it just shows the respect, and the interest in ladies football and camogie has really increased because of all this streaming, and I suppose all the social media aspect of it. So it's great for us.
And finally, you're not going to be looking past this game this weekend, but next weekend you have the Camogie final with Newcastle against Killeedy. How hard has it been juggling, or has it been good that you just always have games to look forward to?
It's good. Like, Joe, it's great every weekend to have the games to look forward to. Like, the weeks are flying by when you have the match every weekend. And to be fair, like, both our teams, our managers are communicating well with each other, and I think that is what has made it so easy for us, because it just slots in every week, every football or camogie week. So, like, that has really made it the easiest for us, because they've been communicating. And otherwise, like, it could be a struggle if there's a lack of communication there, because it could be overlapping or anything. But they have made it so easy for us.
Good afternoon from the two Gaelic grounds. We're back in action here for the second game of today. It's the Dental Limerick Ladies Gaelic Football Final, the senior final. We already had Drumcolour Broadford winning out in the intermediate final. A reminder that this is going to be streamed exclusively on Facebook, so if your friends are yet to tune in, just tag them in the comments and they can jump on and watch the stream. We'll have a look at the two sides for this game. We've Monagea and Ballylanders. Both sides have changed from their traditional strips, and it's Ballylanders who will be wearing white jerseys with green shorts, and for Monagea they're in a changed navy and green strip there on our right hand side as we speak. A look at the teams first. The Ballylanders side is showing one change as advertised in the match programme, so they go with the side of Orla Moriarty, Aisling Mead, Trina O'Donnell, Eilish Lee, Anya McGrath and Ciara O'Riordan replaces Rachel Walsh at centre back, while Katie O'Connor is the remaining half back. Mairead Ryan and Rose Highlander at midfield. Maria Murphy, Leisha Brown, and Cathy Mee are the half forward line. Laura O'Connor, Christy Carroll and Andrea O'Sullivan complete the Ballylanders lineup. The Monagea lineup has Janet Garvey in goals, Roisin Brown, Captain Yvonne Lee and Laura Walsh make up the full back line. Deborah Murphy, Laurie O'Connor and Liz Carmody are the half back line. Grace Lee is partnered by Ellie Wolfe at midfield. Amy Curtin, Bridget Cahill and Karen O'Leary are the half forward line, while Kate Geary replaces Aoife Corbett in the inside forward line. So you'll see number 22 Kate Geary in action. So she's joined by Katrina Davis and Ella Whelan and the inside forward line, but we do expect a number of positional switches. Tom Clancy is my name. I'm on commentary duty here, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Matt O'Callaghan of the Weekly Observer at Vale Star, and I'm also joined by 2018 All-Ireland Junior Football Championship winner Rebecca DeLee. And first of all to you, Matt, good afternoon, and just a quick word on the intermediate final, which finished up not that long ago, and a victory for Drumcolour.
Yeah, and I suppose you'd have to say it was a deserved victory in the end, Tom, although it looked a bit shaky for quite a while there in the first half. They looked the most likely of winners, but when Ula got the first goal, it sort of brought Ula back into it, and certainly when they got the second goal, it was game on. And I had seen Broadford the week before, and they had allowed Maru Boher come at him for a considerable period, but Maru Boher didn't make it count. But that was unlike today, where I thought there was a greater edge actually to the Ula attack, and they threatened more. I honestly think that in a converse way, Tom, the sending off or the sin binning for 10 minutes, I think it galvanised Broadford. They only conceded a point in that 10-minute period, but they seemed to up the tempo and seemed to exert the level of control which they didn't relent after that.
Yeah, so Broadford back on the senior ranks. They won the title last year, but as I said already, no promotion for them. Turning attention to this Dental senior final, and Rebecca, I'll come to you first. I believe you were at the Monagea semi-final last week, where they defeated county champion St. Ailbe's by 1 goal and 9 points to 1 goal and 3. What did you see in that game? Were you impressed by Monagea's output?
Yeah, definitely. I suppose the way they retained possession and they worked the ball up the pitch, they were just very good at recycling. They really worked as a team. I think everyone really pulled their weight, and it'll be interesting to see the outcome of this match now. And I suppose at the end of the day, how will they react to playing in the Gaelic grounds? A lot of these players haven't played in the Gaelic grounds before. It's a massive occasion at the end of the day. It's senior county final, and you wonder, will that play a part? And I thought they kept their composure last week, but just with being in the Gaelic grounds now, how will they fare out then?
Yeah, a bigger crowd, of course, and it's but completely different conditions to that in Clorina last week, which faced the sides. Cathy Mee just coming back from her toss there, she's the last player into the Ballylanders team photo. Great to see so many numbers on all 4 teams participating today. Matt, I come to you on for a bit of insight into the Ballylanders side. They won 3 in a row a couple of years ago. They're trying to scale those heights again and get back on top in Limerick.
Yeah, and I suppose for about 5 or 6 or possibly even 7 of the Ballylanders squad, playing in a county final here in the Gaelic grounds is not new, because I think they won the 2017 final. It was here against Monagea. Of course, they lost. They haven't been in the final since 2018 when they lost to Monagea. So, you know, I saw them in the semi-final last week. They looked to be home and hosed when they were winning by 9 points to 2 at one stage in the game. But suddenly, Old Mill found a bit of rhythm and found a purple patch, this famous purple patch that we talk about in all games. But they found it and suddenly reduced it to 2 points with 2 minutes to go. And you would have to say at that point that the momentum was with Old Mill, and certainly Ballylanders at that point were vulnerable, I thought. But Christy Carroll went down, got a very, very good point which steadied the ship, and they saw it out after that. But I honestly think, you know, coming up against a team like Monagea, as Rebecca has said, you know, it's going to be a different kettle of fish, because no disrespect to Old Mill, but in terms of development and in terms of experience, Monagea are much further down the road. And of course Monagea are coming here with a mission. This is their 5th final, and they don't want to be the team that has won 1 out of 5.
Yeah, 1 out of 5 wouldn't be an impressive strike rate, but in fairness to them, they keep coming back year after year. As Matt said there, Ballylanders 11 points to 1-5 victors over Old Mill last week. So Christy Carroll's point there, just sealing that one for them. So far in the championship, well, Ballylanders have scored 9 goals and 26 points, and they have been pretty mean at the back, conceding just 3 goals and 23. Well, Monagea, well, if you're looking for an impressive defence, theirs has been pretty impressive. 1 goal and 14 conceded across their goal or across their 3 games. And 7 goals and 35 notched up in attack. And Rebecca, I'll come back to you there. Round 2, which was actually Monagea's first outing of the season, the championship season, that is. Monagea winning 3-16 to 7 points against your own Fiona Castleman. A tough day at the office, but it probably emphasised how good Monagea are.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose I play with him for Newcastle West, so I suppose like we know all the tricks and the traits going like with each other. So yeah, like I think we had put down such a mark against St. Bridget's. I think Monagea were coming into the match obviously well up for it, ready to go, and I think like we were taught a lesson really on the day, and I just thought again seeing them play St. Helby's last year.
Okay, we stand now for our rendezvous. And Matt, just a side point, fantastic to see the Aran Naveen sung actually in the Gaelic rounds. We've often heard it pre-recorded, but there's nothing beats a good singing of the Aran Naveen.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, full credit to Limerick Ladies Football for, you know, being innovative and creative in seeking to get the Gaelic grounds for what is their red letter day, and everything has gone off smack smooth so far, and I've no reason that, you know, we will look back on it as being a landmark day in Limerick Ladies Football, and possibly look at it as the final days of the future.
Yeah, well, hopefully this is the hallmark and the benchmark for where we can bear things in the years to come. Kevin O'Brien is today's match official, the Patrick Swell club man, making his way in there with the match ball. And in fairness, the referee in the first game did a fine job of it, and we're hoping for more of the same free-flowing football is what we're hoping for here. As I mentioned, both sides in probably slightly unfamiliar colours. Ballylanders in the dominant white jerseys, and Monagea in the navy and green, so both sides changing away from their yellow and green jerseys. Great to see so many players listed on both panels, 37 if you're from Monagea and 35 for Ballylanders. And interestingly, number 35, Katie Hennessy, is joint captain, and we wish Katie all the best in her recovery for leave from a torn ACL, and she's a lady beside me here who would know plenty about that, unfortunately. But it's disappointing that she misses out, but it's great to see that they haven't forgotten her and haven't forgotten anyone really. Both sides have named everyone involved on the team programme.
Yeah, definitely. Just like you said, wish her very best. It's a long road, tough road, but again, I think to come back is always stronger than the setback. So
yeah, and we're underway in this Tridental Limerick Ladies Senior Football Championship final, and it's straight away it's Ballylanders into it, and it's Maria Murphy but turned over, and Ellie Wolfe gets possession of it. A number of positional changes. We'll discuss those as the contest goes on. And first chance for Monagea, direct inside to Karen O'Leary. O'Leary gathers it at the second attempt, switches it across to Ella Whelan. Whelan may have to come back, and indeed she does. Just unable to find O'Leary with the return pass, and strength of numbers back there for Ballylanders, and they come away with it. And the ball is switched out to Cathy Mee, joint captain of this side, and Mee shows plenty of strength to hold off her marker, and the ball is with Andrea O'Sullivan, familiar to those who watch the Limerick ladies football this year. And ball played inside to Christy Carroll, and Carroll is fouled. Kevin O'Brien blows his whistle for the first time. A minute gone on the clock, and Ballylanders waste no time in getting on with it. Ball, lovely interchange of passes, and Bridget Cahill switches it, looks long inside, but good covering defensive work by Roisin Brown. It's turned over, chance here, and the referee is going to give a free in there. Plenty of danger there, Matt, for plenty of danger caused by Ballylanders. It didn't give it up easy.
No, and that gives you an idea of the value of persistence, and that was certainly persistence in Ballylanders' part, and certainly this first attack by Ballylanders, it looked lively.
Yeah, and they'll have the ideal opportunity inside 2 minutes as the defensive player there is ticked off by the referee, just for a push, he says, and an ideal opportunity on just outside the 13. I think it's going to be Christy Carroll to take it. So she's going to strike this left-footed. And the opening score of this 2021 championship final goes the way of Ballylanders, and it's full forward Christy Carroll. As Matt said, she got the last score of their semi-final, and she's on the board already here, just over 2 minutes gone. And an ideal start for Ballylanders, but Monagea looking to reply in kind. This is Karen O'Leary, Limerick Camogie captain for the year just gone. She's looking to launch a first notable attack. Great soling, she has advantage here, and she's probably going to need it. No, she spots the run. Deborah Murphy, chance, and Murphy just tucks it inside that right hand post. Good advantage by the referee, and Deborah Murphy there. Rebecca, a very well worked score. Karen O'Leary, drew a foul, but she played on, and very well executed right footed point by Deborah Murphy.
Yeah, and the two of them work so well together, and when you're running at that pace, it's impossible for any defender to defend it. Yeah,
and they've turned it over, and another advantage coming here now, and a chance could have chance of the first goal of the game, but she's sent over the crossbar into the lead for the very first time. I think it's Ella Whelan on this occasion with the score, and just like that, Monagea find themselves into the lead as corner forward Ella Whelan puts her name on the score sheet for the first time this afternoon. So 2 points to 1, and another free this time for Ballylanders. Can they work it up the pitch? They may have seen some of the the intermediate final where frees were Ula's undoing and finding possession from their own frees, as the advantage again comes the way of the South Limerick club, and no advantage coming, so 44 metres or so out. Matt, bright opening. Both sides have settled with getting a couple of points, or getting a point each. Well, 2 points in Monagea's case, so they'll be happy enough, I think, overall.
I think they will, and certainly Monagea, they certainly they look dangerous. There's no doubt about that, and I'm sure Rebecca would be better qualified than I. Karen O'Leary was absolutely immense in the semi-final, and she looks to have been picking up on that form again here in the early moments.
Yeah, Aisling Mead gets possession. Aisling Mead named at number 2, but seems to be playing more close to the centre back, as ball finds its way to Christy Carroll, and it's switched inside to Leisha Brown. Leisha Brown had thoughts of an equalising point, but is dispossessed, and they come away with it through Deborah Murphy. And Murphy, another player who's very formidable in the Camogie Stakes, and she switches the ball across to this near stand sideline. You can probably hear the volume in the Gaelic grounds is pretty notable, as Grace Lee grabs hold of it. Is she fouled? She is indeed. She's fouled by Mead, Aisling Mead, and Lee gives it to Murphy. And possession, very important to be kept from these frees, so they decide to go back and start the attack from there. It's Karen O'Leary. O'Leary draws 2 defenders and pops it across, and she's going to get it back. O'Leary switches the ball across to Ellie Wolfe. Wolfe to O'Leary again. As Rebecca said already, the pace injected into the attack is very hard to stop as Grace Lee gets it, but Grace Lee kicks the first wide of this final, skews it off her right boot. And Rebecca, the Monagea picking up, I think, where they left off from what I've heard about last week. Very good running off the ball, very good link play between their forwards.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see how, like, when they're in the middle of the pitch, they're not afraid to kick it out wide, and they know they have their players up and down that line. I think both teams are playing with kind of a sweeper. So it'll be interesting to see how that fares out through the game. Will one team just push and, I suppose, go for it, like, but we'll have to see here.
Yeah, ball is knocked in behind. Christy Carroll goes for it, but looks to be a Monagea player to come up with it. And Deborah Murphy, busy already. Plenty of possessions, and another quick 1-2 there with Grace Lee. Good work there from Cathy Mee, and Monagea decide we're going to switch this and go out the other side. But for once, the foot pass isn't great. But onto it breaks Liz Carmody, and Carmody is upended, and she decides it's time to get moving once again. Ball finds its way back to Carmody. So 6.5 minutes or thereabouts gone here at the 2 Gaelic grounds. Pitch, I walked it just before kickoff in fantastic order, especially for November. And the ball finds its way somehow to Karen O'Leary. She's fouled again. Referee playing advantage. We could be in for her first goal of the game here. It's Bridget Cahill. Cahill bearing down in goal. Does she slip? Referee says play on, and good work there by Janet Garvey. Garvey comes away with it. And a bit of a let off there for Ballylanders, but in fairness, 4 or 5 players did get back. They didn't give it up, and they launched the counter-attack. Andrea O'Sullivan switches it across to this near stand side, and pass just isn't accurate enough as Christy Carroll misses out on it, and it's picked up by Trina O'Donnell. O'Donnell inside to centre back. Sorry, that was Yvonne Lee into Laurie O'Connor. Mixing up my full-backs as the ball is just overhit there by Bridget Cahill, and it's out for a line ball. Matt, you'd probably be the happier of the 2 sides from Monagea, not from the scoreboard point of view, but in terms of their overall play has been a bit more, I suppose, a bit more fluid than Ballylanders.
It has, and they're certainly threatening more. And I think Ballylanders had a bit of a let off there when Bridget Cahill got in behind the defence, and it could very well easily have been a goal. But I don't want to be hopping back on it again, but it looks as if Karen O'Leary is in, because she had started that particular move, and she has already been involved in one of the points, so it looks as if she's putting on mark in the game already.
Yeah,
and it's terribly important from a Ballylanders point of view that they somehow reduce her influence or negate her influence, because she'll run all day.
Yeah, indeed she will. And the referee, well, Mike Mann, the linesman on the near side, he decides this is where the free is from, and Deborah Murphy pops it into Karen O'Leary, has to get her at the second attempt and does so, and she is fouled again. I think that's the 3rd time. And the referee, I think, is going to note the Ballylanders player, but on this occasion the free is poor enough, and Cathy Mee can come away with it. 3, what's the referee giving here?
Kevin O'Brien, the referee out there, is one of the most experienced, I suppose, ladies sport referees in the country. I was just chatting with him downstairs before we came up, and his last assignment was in Croke Park, was the All-Ireland Junior Camogie final. So he's been taking a break due to work commitments since, but a very, very experienced official taking charge of the game today.
Yeah, very interesting to note that that was his last time behind the whistle, or on the whistle, and on this occasion he gives a free to Monagea, but they go backwards to Laurie O'Connor, and she finds Grace Lee to Deborah Murphy. I'd say she's a statistician's nightmare, because she's so busy that you'd be running out of ink in the pen. So chance now for Monagea to try and extend that early advantage, but the referee lets play go on here. Nothing wrong with it, he says, and that's good defensive work by Ballylanders. They turn it over and launch an attack of their own. This is Mairead Ryan. Can she drive through the middle? what can she do with it? Skips inside. Ryan to Andrea O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan jinking onto her left hand side. Solas it with the right, and too many steps, says Kevin O'Brien, and good defensive play from Monagea stopping that. 10 minutes now played, and advantage Monagea. They've held the county champions last week to exactly 0 in the first half, but struggled a little bit themselves in the second half given the conditions we had last Sunday. And another foul, this time on Deborah Murphy, and Murphy just nonchalantly knocks it across to Liz Carmody, the other wing back. And Monagea just looking to build it slowly, being precise with their passing and their hand passing, as Grace Lee brings it across to Liz Carmody. What does she have in front of her? Well, she has another player out wide here, and fair play to Monagea keeping the width, and the ball is sent in and it's just creeping to the right and wide. That's their second wide. Matt, maybe something needs to change for Ballylanders here. They're kind of sitting off a little bit too much, and they're inviting Monagea onto them.
They are certainly inviting Monagea on, and Monagea could have a couple more scores on the board. I think 2 points to 1 lead is flattering Ballylanders after 11 minutes, if I'm honest, because certainly the more likely and the more of the action and the more in terms of possession, and to be interesting to see the stats on that, it certainly has been in favour of Monagea.
Yeah, Christy Carroll involved in it here, goes backwards to midfielder Rose Highland, and Carroll sends it inside to Leisha Brown. Brown bearing down on goal. Can she level the game up here? Spills it and then collides heavily with, I think it's Deborah Murphy. Referee's going to have to stop it, and yeah, we'll just halt the proceedings here. She looks to be okay. Kevin O'Brien decides we're going to go back for the free, and it's going to be Janet Garvey and the Monagea goal who's going to take it. A reminder, we still have the water breaks in operation, as Deborah Murphy does require treatment. Rebecca, very good tempo to the game so far. I know it's been disrupted now by this injury, but in fairness, good tempo being set by both teams.
Yeah, both teams are attacking at pace. I think Monagea are actually just keeping the pitch a lot wider, so when they actually come and meet the defender, they are always just playing it once more outside, whereas Ballylanders are playing very, very narrow. Just say about Mairead Rinder, she actually won her county intermediate championship yesterday with Cratloe, if I'm wrong now. She could correct me.
Clooney Quinn, I think.
Yes. Sorry, she won her intermediate championship yesterday, so credit to her today to go out there and play a second game. And I suppose that's one thing we've been very lucky with this year, that the ladies football and the Camogie have actually organised so that it's every second weekend, so there is no burnout of players. So
yeah, good communication between both boards, and it's something that I know from it's turned over here, and Andrea Sullivan sharpest to it, and Andrea Sullivan is now thrown on the deck, and it's going to be a free in. But Matt, just before we have that free, to pick up that point, I know I stood on many a sideline with you, and we've bemoaned the lack of think up between Camogie and ladies football, but thankfully in the last maybe 18 months to a couple of years, it's things are starting to come to fruition locally, and things are joined up thinking at place.
There is joined up thinking, and it was only last year when we had a whole rigmarole and a whole mix up about the whole thing and about the clash, and you know that they obviously sat down together this year and set out a programme and set out a strategy that was every second week Camogie and ladies football, and very interestingly, I was just speaking with Niamh Richardson before I came up, the PRO, the Camogie board, the ladies football board, inquiring as to when the junior finals might be on, and I was told that they're on in 2 weeks' time. So even at this concluding stages, there's not going to be clashes, which is very, 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 very admirable.
Yeah, and clarity for players in terms of work arrangements and holidays and all the rest of it that goes with being an amateur sports person. And so we're going to resume here. So long may that continue across both codes, and a chance now for Christy Carroll to double her tally and double her side's tally. We're just 14 and a quarter minutes into this one, disrupted now in the last couple of minutes by injury. Christy Carroll, beautiful strike at the ball off her left foot, and Christy Carroll makes no mistake, and the first score for them since the second minute. 15 minutes now on the clock, and I think Ballylanders will be happy enough, it must be said, that they've been second best in a lot of their sectors, but they are not second best on the score sheet. It's level pegging, 2 points apiece, Once again, Deborah Murphy driving through the middle. It needs to be tracked, and she is tracked this time by Rose Hyland, but she's not involved as the ball is just overcooked there. And disappointing turnover if you're a Monagea supporter. So will it be 2 county titles heading back to the west today after Drumbrodford's victory over Ula earlier this afternoon? Or will Ballylanders get their 4th Ladies Senior Football Championship title? Remember, 3 in a row just a couple of years ago, so as they have advantage here now, and the play continues. The referee still with the arm outstretched, and looks like he's going to give a free. He is. So we're beyond the 15-minute mark. We will have a water break soon, although the disruptions in the last few minutes mean we'll probably continue for another minute or two. Ballylanders yet to really get joint captain Cathy Mee into the proceedings. We know what she's capable of doing on the score sheet. She's plotting a lone furrow on this left hand side as they turn the ball over, and Ellie Wolfe breaks up the middle. It's Karen O'Leary. Ships one challenge, glides past another. Lovely direct ball to corner forward Ella Whelan. Whelan back to, well, it's going to find its way back to Whelan. It's not. It's jinked inside from Bridget Cahill. Cahill bearing down and goal. 1-on-1 here. In fact, she's pulled back. Referee has the arm out for advantage, and he's going to give them a free. So that should be the ideal opportunity for free taker to push Monagea back into the lead. And again, Matt, we're seeing the injection of pace when it's put in there by the Monagea attack. It's reaping rewards.
Yeah, and this is a free now for Katrina Davis, which you'll back Katrina nearly all day on it. But Bridget Cahill has made a couple of very incisive runs and is playing a very important part up there now. Bridget actually captained Monagea the last time they won the county, if I'm right, when they beat Ballylanders in 2018. But she found an opening there, and that was the second time she has found an opening. And what are we just coming up to the first water break?
Yeah, we're at the first water break. 16 3/4 minutes on the clock here, and Katrina Davis makes sure that Monagea lead by 3 points to 2 at that water break. Ballylanders, well, they're just going to have to try and tweak a few things here. There's an ideal opportunity to do so. Rebecca, talk to me about Katrina Davis. I know you played inter-county football with her. She, as we saw there, she's a very accomplished free taker, but what's she like around the dressing room? She seems to be a larger-than-life character for having spoken to her once before.
Definitely, yeah. What I'd say is it's grand when you're on the same team as her, but maybe not when you're against her. But no, I think Katrina's got very fit this year. I think the moves that she's making inside are, because you've Karen, you've Debs, Grace Lee, Ellie Wolfe, Ella Whelan, they're all, Bridget Cahill, they're all bombing through. And fair to Katrina, she's actually never standing inside still. The room is there for her to go through, and they're keeping it wide, like I said, whereas you could actually hear Ballylanders manager saying we need to keep it wider, because when they start bringing it in, the girls have the pace to keep up with them, so you're not going to outrun them. You just need to play it wide.
Yeah, a very good point indeed.
I think, Tom, in fairness, from a Ballylanders point of view, they've got to devise a strategy to get Cathy Mee on the ball and into the game, because effectively she has been a bystander. The ball hasn't come her way out at wing forward. I honestly think that somebody of Cathy's calibre should be in a central position.
Yeah, it looks like she's gone.
I'd say it looks like she's going back centre back now. I'd say maybe just take charge of the whole thing and get it set up properly. Yeah.
Absolutely, and this is probably in response now to Bridget Cahill, because I thought Bridget Cahill was playing exceptionally well there in the first half, and it might kill 2 birds with the one stone from Ballylanders. It might reduce the influence of Bridget Cahill, and at the same time bring Cathy into the game and do what she's good at.
Yeah, so it looks like she's gone back, well, certainly for the kick out into the defensive position. She's the target for this kick out. Contesting it well with her, though, is Deborah Murphy, and it looks like, well, actually, Ballylanders are going to come up with it. And Mairead Ryan wins her free. And she switches the ball across to Rose Hyland. Hyland slips, gets it back up in the second attempt. There's a very heavy hit there with Grace Lee. And the referee decides to play on, as Grace Lee is prone on the floor, but Ballylanders happy to continue with it. It's Cathy Mee switches inside to Christy Carroll. Can she get her first from play? Goes back to Andrea O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan pops it across to Leisha Brown. Brown Plenty of Monagea defenders on the cover, so back to Brown now. She is a couple of metres to herself, skips a challenge, hops it. Can she pass it through? Sends this shot in. It's going to go short into the hands of Janet Garvey, and Garvey comes out through a couple of challenges, but bit of a 50-50 one there, but no better player to win one of those than Karen O'Leary. And thankfully for Grace Lee, she's happy, she's content enough to continue. Bit of a heavy clash there in around the halfway line as Monagea decide to go backwards with the free. So 12 minutes or so left in this half. Karen O'Leary, I'm tired just looking at her already. She seems to be everywhere. Switches it across. Lovely ball for Deborah Murphy and just about gets it, but that's a great flick from Cathy Mee, and Mee goes direct inside to Christy Carroll. Carroll looks back. Sorry, this is now Cathy Mee. Switch of positions there, and Mee back outside. Christy Carroll, does she have a support runner? She does, and it's Mairead Ryan. Ryan skips and through a challenge. Was the arm outstretched? The referee lets it go. This is Cathy Mee. 2-3 Monagea defenders there, and the ball switched outside it. Cathy Mee is fouled right in front of the post, and we have another player down, a Monagea player again on this occasion. So looks to be Yvonne Lee, the full back. She came out there and didn't shirk the challenge, so she's going to require a bit of attention. And Matt, chance for Ballylanders to again level themselves, but worrying at this point. We're nearly 20 minutes into the contest and they haven't yet to score from play.
Yeah, that has to be a worry for Ballylanders, and I see they have brought out Andrea Sullivan out. It looks into a half forward line position anyway, so like you would see her as being a big scoring threat. But of course Christy Carroll and Leisha Brown are in there as well. Now Leisha Brown very often takes the frees. She plays soccer with Treaty United, and I think was involved over the weekend in a cup final, I think on Friday night. So but she normally very often takes the frees, but obviously Christy is taking them today, and look, she's going to put over her third one here, which she comfortably does.
Yeah, Christy Carroll with a hat-trick now of well executed frees. 3 from 3 for her, 20 minutes on the clock, and we are now level for the third time. So no side yet to stamp their authority, certainly on the score sheet. Ballylanders growing into this one, it must be said, as Laurie O'Connor takes the kick out, but under pressure from Christy Carroll. O'Connor keeps a hold of it, to be fair, and Christy comes back at her. It ain't easy back there, and the ball is with Kate Geary, who, while she did come in for Aoife Corbett at corner forward, she's gone all the way back into the defence, so she helps link this one up, and they're going to escape there. Andrea Sullivan with a bit of pressure on it, as the arm outstretched again, and once again Karen O'Leary is fouled. And lovely little ball inside, although not enough on it, because Ballylanders come up with it. Can they launch an attack and get themselves into the lead for the first time? This is midfielder Rose Hyland. Hyland takes too many steps, and straight on it is Ellie Wolfe. Well, we're going to halt proceedings here again, and a ticking this time for Andrea Sullivan. I'm sure, I know you're friendly enough, it must be said, with Karen O'Leary. She must be used to this attention in both codes. She's often, probably one of the most foul players on the pitch. She's used to the attention that she draws. It's probably the way she plays.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, when we played against each other, sure, we knew the ins and outs, so we knew how to push each other buttons. But definitely, you can see she's back in the back, she's up in the forwards. The pressure again. But I must say, Ballylanders really come out after the water break, and I think they're putting great pressure. I think they're set up, like you say, Cathy Meads on the ball a little bit more, and they're showing great aggression. Yeah, they are indeed. There's another couple of strong challenges in there, but play on, says the referee, and ball is going to find its way out to Rose Hyland. Hyland getting a lot of the ball in the last few minutes into Christy Carroll. Just ducks under a stray arm, and Carroll has to go back, and she does. She comes outside this time to Cathy Mee, and Mee gives it inside to Marie Murphy, and Murphy switches it across to number 25, and that is Ciara O'Riordan, and well, it's going to be free to Monagea. So can one of these two sides get themselves in front and try and get dominant? The ball is going in around the house. It's a dangerous ball in there. Looks like there's enough covering defenders. It's not. It's played first time off the ground, more or less. It's just on the ball bouncing there.
And well, she's down on the deck. I'm not sure exactly who that is.
Looks like Ella Whelan.
Ella Whelan, yeah, her second point of the afternoon.
And
she looked second favourite for it, Matt, and she managed just to throw a stray boot on it and over the bar.
Yeah, and that's the kind of shot that could have gone anywhere. It could have gone easily as under the bar as over the bar. Of course, it could have gone wide as well, but she just met it right and put it over and puts Monagea back in the lead. But she seems to be down. She's getting back up again now, but
Katrina Davis has given her words of wisdom to get her back up off the deck, and she looks okay to continue. So a chance now
the magic words of Davis have worked again.
Yeah, Katrina Davis, another member of that 2018 Limerick Junior side who won the All-Ireland final against Louth in Croke Park. So accomplished footballer to say the least, as ball is turned over, and this time it's Amy Curtin. Not seen an awful lot of Curtin so far, but Liz Carmody gets the ball off her. Lovely little interchange of passes. Looking for back-to-back scores in this contest, but it's turned over. And another free out here. Must be said, a very healthy crowd beneath us in the Mackey stand here. Great crowd for the first game as well. Ula brought plenty of colour, plenty of noise, but unfortunately came out second best. And the spoils going back to Drum, as once again involved in a heavy hit is Grace Lee. Nothing in it really, she's just tried to look to block the hand pass and ships a heavy one. So Kevin O'Brien does the right thing, calls in both medical teams. And in fairness, Matt, to Grace Lee, she just hasn't pulled out of anything. She's that's the third time I think she's clashed with someone in around the middle. She wants to win this title. It's pretty obvious.
Absolutely. But just getting back to Cathy Mee, I'm still at a bit of a loss as to what role she's in at the moment. She seems to be back up into where she started. I would have thought placing her at centre back and bringing her into the thick of the action, and tis a place where she's quite a bit of experience playing there, was the way forward. But obviously Ballylanders have thought otherwise. But I would agree with what Rebecca said there, that Ballylanders, since the water break, seem to have a greater level of greater energy and a greater intensity about them. But it's still the Monagea look the more likely.
Okay, yeah, well, that's the thoughts of Matt O'Callaghan. We're 5 minutes to go in this first half. We'll definitely have a couple of minutes of stoppage time, as looks like Grace Lee is happy enough to continue, I think. Well, we'll see now. She gets back to her feet in a minute. Yeah, she's back up. It'll take more than that to knock her out of this county final. Her side a point to the good, as we resume with an indirect free with Maria Murphy. And Murphy spots the run this time of Leisha Brown, and Ballylanders very much switched on for that one. Skips through a couple of challenges, but can't find her teammate with the pass. And look at those lovely quick hand passes, and Deborah Murphy brings it out from Monagea, and chance again. Scrappy enough ball there, but won by Ciara O'Riordan. O'Riordan looks for Christy Carroll. Carroll all over the back of Ella Wolfe. Now, interestingly, Matt, the whistle had already gone, and she continued with the tackle and pulled her opponent to the ground. So, your thoughts on that?
Could be talking about the sin bin here, I think.
Yeah, perhaps
Kevin O'Brien is certainly not impressed anyway. There is bookwork. I think Christy will be lucky to stay on now for...
yeah, and indeed it is. He's going to the notebook formally indeed for the first time.
Yeah.
And Christy Carroll, well, she scored all her side's points and all of them from frees, and it just probably lost the head slightly there after the possession was turned over. Yeah. More or less rugby tackled her opponent to the ground. A massive blow, Rebecca, for Ballylanders. Their key marksman so far, markswoman I should say, is out of the action for 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that was just pure frustration. I think, when they're attacking, they're getting bottled up, and they're not really getting afloated. Like, there hasn't. I don't think there's been a shot that they could have taken. I think Monagea are blocking them out, and I just think that was just frustration on her side, because she's inside there. I suppose no ball is really going in direct, and I just think she just kind of was just.
Yeah, I think Rebecca is right, and there's a certain element. I wouldn't attribute any malice to it whatsoever, other than that absolute frustration, and she's living off crumbs in there.
Yeah, well, she's paid the price for that. A bit of a rush of blood to the head, it must be said. But 10 minutes on the sideline, and advantage very much with Monagea. And it's O'Leary now pops it inside, but just not on the same wavelength with Grace Lee, and they come away with the ball to Ballylanders. They're going to have to try and, I suppose, keep themselves in touch now when they're down either side of the break. It would most likely down a player. Karen O'Leary with a bit of push in the back on Trina O'Donnell. Kevin O'Brien right on the spot to give it, and they get on with it pretty quickly. Andrea O'Sullivan makes it stick, skips through a couple of challenges, and finds herself in straight into a couple more. The ball out to Anya McGrath. McGrath looks back for O'Sullivan, gets it again, and there's bodies all over the two Gaelic Grounds surface as Monagea look to come away with it. Laura Walsh goes into a challenge with Luisha Brown, goes back to this side, and looks like Yvonne Lee is the injured party this time. Here's her sister here now, Grace, pops it inside to Karen O'Leary. O'Leary goes through a challenge there with Mairead Ryan, and well, they'll know each other quite well. Karen brought to the deck, so Yvonne Lee looks to be a head injury, in fact, is on the deck. So Rebecca, up to Monagea to make this player advantage count, really, isn't it, over the next maybe 7 or 8 minutes that they have the advantage?
I think myself and Matt were laughing there. It was like a trademark. How would you say Karen did her trademark over the shoulder?
Are you saying she bought it? She bought the free?
Sure, it doesn't matter how you get them, isn't it? But yeah.
Yeah, she invited the challenge from her inter-county Camogie teammate Mairead Ryan, and the net result is she has the free, and now they have the ball close to goal through O'Leary again. A sea of white bodies. She's on the deck again. It's going to be a free in. Yeah, it's another foul. Not the one on O'Leary, the second one there. I think the guilt.
Anyway, it looks for Monagea, but I think they're about to be up any minute. Karen is about to get up anyway. Karen O'Leary is one of them. They're both up.
Yeah, we saw it, Matt, in the first game. The physicality of the game has really gone up, isn't it, in the last couple of years? And
it has, yeah. And reflecting, just as you alluded there to the first game, I thought the first half was poor enough in the first half, as I said, but I thought the intensity and the work rate of both sides, the tackling in the second half went up a good few notches, and it was really of a high standard in that regard, the second half.
Yeah,
but,
a chance now for...
It has been a pretty high standard here right from the start, in fairness.
Katrina Davis's free is tailing, but it's kept in play, and it's a square ball. Kevin O'Brien decides that the Monagea player entered the square a bit early, so chance there gone a begging for Monagea, and a chance now for Ballylanders to clear their lines, but plenty of players down in that area, so it's going to have to be precise to get out through this, and indeed it is. They up through a couple of challenges. Now Andrea Sullivan makes a run, but it's bypassed her, but a wayward foot pass, it must be said, and Deborah Murphy with her name on the score sheet already looks for Karen O'Leary. Ball knocked out now. Katrina Davis, haven't seen much of her from open play, it must be said, and a bit of a tussle there, and the referee gives a free in. We have another injury here, so all the while Christy Carroll's sin bin clock ticks along. It's just disrupting the flow of it, Matt. We haven't had too many scores. 7 points in 30 minutes is not what we expected. We probably expected a little bit more, but I suppose the injuries and the knocks, they're just disrupting the flow of that little bit.
Yeah, they are, and it's gone a bit scrappy now, and particularly in the last 4 or 5 minutes, we've this is the third incident of players being down, and I suppose it is the intensity, even though I would say that in the last 10 minutes or so the intensity has dropped. Would you agree, Rebecca?
Yeah, definitely, but I think, like we were just saying there, physicality has really gone up in the last few years, and I think it's the only way, because when you come out, when you play with your county, then the other clubs around are doing that physicality, so it's great that it's been left go, like the hits are going in. I know players are going down, but at the same time it's what you need, and I think we train in gym now, we go to gym, and I just think we're able for it, and fair play to Kevin, he's leaving it going as much as he can, and that's what players want,
Yeah, in fairness, in that regard, he's doing a very good job in it, and in keeping the flow into it, because it's not easy, because the knocks are big in it now. In fairness.
Yeah, we're back underway as the ball finds its way. A quick 1-2 from Katrina Davis with Karen O'Leary, but her pass is not accurate. But somehow it finds its way back to Davis, and well, the less said about that, the better. Wayward shot, 3 wides now for Monagea. And no wides yet for Ballylanders. And actually, to pick that up, that's what Rebecca said, Matt, a few minutes ago, that Ballylanders just haven't been afforded the opportunity to shoot. So that's why they have no wides. Oh, they're turned over here now. Chance here is Katrina Davis using her soccer skills. She just brings it away. Ball back across to Bridget Cahill, who has been a little bit quieter since the water break. Off the left foot of Deborah Murphy. I can tell you for an absolute fact that she's not left-footed. That's a fort wide now for Monagea. Disappointing now that they've not, from their point of view, they've yet to really take advantage of Christy Carroll's sin binning. Martin O'Sullivan and his backroom team, they'll be just seeing what they can do now. We're 3 minutes into stoppage time. There's, by my calculations, we've about 6 or 7 minutes of that sin bin used already. So Ballylanders will be happy enough they've got through it, and they're going to get to clear their lines this time. Anya McGrath. McGrath goes back to Katie O'Connor, and Ballylanders just moving it through the hands, switching it from left to right, and the pass is sticking that little bit better now. The referee decides nothing happening there in the middle as another player finds herself on the deck. Katie O'Connor switches it across to Andrea O'Sullivan. So Rebecca gestures that there's a real lack of wit in the Ballylanders attack. I tend to agree with her. That's the difference in the side so far. Monagea setting up very well defensively too, as ball's Mairead Ryan inside to Anya McGrath. McGrath back to the run of Cathy Mee. Switched out again. Mairead Ryan. Sorry, this is Cathy Mee. Keep mixing her up there, but Mee on it this time. She doesn't have much in support, but skips through a couple of challenges. Advantage being played, and Mee will have her free. But Rebecca, that point there, that there's a real lack of wit there. Even when she does break through on the wit, there's a lack of runners too from Ballylanders.
Yeah, and I suppose Matt's wondering why Cathy is out in the wing and not in the central row, but I can see what they're probably trying to do. They're trying to keep her out wide, and then when I suppose they break, she's here on the wing, and you really only then the wing back to beat, right, and you're gone straight through. But they're not getting it there. You can see all the space where she took off, but I don't know, you can see why it should work, but they're just not playing that role.
Yeah, the free taken by Alicia Brown.
But prior to the offloading to her, there were one or two chances in that particular move to offload it to her earlier, which might have been more advantage because Laurie O'Connor had picked up the move and had closed in on her at that stage. So,
yeah, the first wide of the day there for Ballylanders is from the free of Alicia Brown. A very difficult angle, it must be said, but skewing it slightly to the right. So the advantage is still with Monagea, 4 points to 3, and up the middle comes Liz Carmody. Plenty of room in front of her. Looks for the run of Karen O'Leary. O'Leary puts the brakes on and finds Ellie Wolfe. Pass is going to hand, and the ball is sent right into this corner. Great hands from midfielder Grace Lee. Lee spots the run of Bridget Cahill. Can she bury the first goal of the game? She's tackled late. Well, the referee I think he's happy enough with the challenge, is he? He is. The wide will count for their good covering defender, legal or otherwise, but she stops
more than a suspicion of a foul there, I think.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Matt, but in fairness, we're not the ones out there reffing it, and Grace Lee intercepts the kick out. Good hands again from Lee. 2 hands catches it and can create another attack here. Lovely pass that bypasses, well, they're going backwards here. It's all the way back to the 45, intercepted by Alicia Brown, and Brown finds a teammate, but hands just not there for Ciara O'Riordan, and Monagea come again out to this left wing. Good move there now. Yvonne Lee, the team captain, decides to go back. Advantage still coming her way, so they'll play on as Liz Carmody in possession of it again. Lovely little hand pass to the impressive Bridget Cahill. Back to Deborah Murphy. Deborah Murphy around the neck, and I'm going to preempt this that we're going to have a second yellow here. We're going to be very, very close if we don't. In around the neck, dangerous enough challenge. And well, Rebecca, it's difficult enough playing with 14. You don't want to be playing any period of the game with 13.
No, definitely not. And looking at the score here, it's 3 points to 4. If I was Ballylanders, I'd probably be just trying to. You can see they're all gone back now, just defending, stopping them, getting another score, going in at half time, come out and regroup. Monagea should be up a lot more than a point. Yeah, and it's indeed down to 13 now, as a yellow card comes the way of Maria Murphy. So. And in fact, Christy Carroll should be gone back into the game, I think. No, she's still down here as the free from Katrina Davis tails slightly to the left and wide. There is the half-time whistle here
in the two Gaelic rounds. So Ballylanders trailing by 3 points to 4, temporarily at least down to 13 players. Christy Carroll is due back on any second now by my own calculations, so they'll probably play the first 10 minutes of the second half with 14. But Matt, advantage Monagea, though, as Rebecca said there a minute ago, they'll be disappointed. They've kicked 5 wides now, and playing with the extra player, they've really not stamped their authority on the scoreboard.
Haven't, and I have no idea what the possession statistics are, but I can say with a certain degree of certainty that it's very much weighed in favour of Monagea, and they certainly haven't reflected it on the scoreboard, and I think the tougher of the two team talks will be in the Monagea camp here at half time, because like they've just got to find a way of converting their superiority into scores. Now Ballylanders will, despite being a point behind, will probably be happy, because they'll say to themselves, like, it can't get much worse than this. We've had Henry O'Sullivan in the bin for 10 minutes, albeit Mary Murphy is going to be in the bin for
Christy Carroll. Yeah, she's due back on any moment.
She's due back on. But they'll have played the first half with 14 players. They're now going to play the second half with 10 minutes with 14 players. So they'll probably say to themselves, it's not a very bad position to be in, considering. Now they'll be slightly worried that they haven't scored from play, which is a worry, and any time. But I think Monagea have a reason. They have reason to be concerned, Tom.
Yeah, if you were, I suppose, Rebecca, if you were involved in Ballylanders here, would you be trying to turn the negative in what was, not their finest performance, probably didn't really get out of first gear, really, trying to turn that into positive, say, look, we haven't hit top form, we haven't even gotten near it, yet we're only a point down.
Yeah, and they have shown glimpses of what they can do when they broke fast, when they powered through the middle and it's come off, but they're unable to, when Monagea have all their players back, they're not able to play that ball around like Monagea are doing. So Monagea are just doing it better, you could say, and that's why I suppose they've got in for the opportunities. Like Monagea, as well as the points they've missed, they've also been in for goal chances that they didn't come off, and you just have to wonder, will that come back and haunt them if Ballylanders do just start getting, because every time Ballylanders have gone down, they've kind of got a free, or they've done something really out of it, whereas you'd have to question then, or Monagea will be very disappointed they're not up more.
Yeah, well, still all to play for. There's no discernible wind advantage for either side in the Gaelic rounds. Not a puff, in fairness, down there. So, very much even Stephen in that regard. Ballylanders have elected to stay out on the field at half time. Monagea have gone to the dressing rooms to our right hand side. We're just going to take a couple of minutes of break just to grab a quick drop of water. Do join us again in a few minutes. The stream will stay live, so just keep your phone, your tablet, or whatever device you're watching on, just keep that active, and we'll be back with second half coverage. As we say, Ballylanders trailing on a scoreline of Monagea 4 points, Ballylanders 3 points. You're very welcome back to the two Gaelic rounds for the coverage of the Tridental Limerick Ladies Senior Football Championship Final. The advantage at half-time is with the side from the west, that is Monagea. They're in navy in front of you. They're just back out from the dressing room, and Ballylanders trailing, so they've just finished their huddle on the pitch. No changes that we know of so far. A reminder that Ballylanders are down to 14. Yeah, Christy Carroll resumes her position. Just the 10 minutes have just expired as the half finished, so she comes back from her sin binning, but her teammate Maria Murphy was sin binned at the last action more or less of the first half, so she's about 9.5 minutes, shall we say, left to run on that clock. So advantage very much with Monagea, but they didn't make much advantage of it. Tom Clancy anyway taking you through this second half, and joined once again by Rebecca DeLee, All-Ireland Junior Ladies Football winner in 2018 with Limerick, and joined by Matt O'Callaghan of the Weekly Observer and Vale Star newspapers. So we're ready to go, bar a football, probably one of the most important things you do need for the sport, but Kevin O'Brien will get one in a moment. Matt, we were just discussing there just before the break, or as the break came, advantage Monagea in the score sheet, but they won't be happy with their level of performance, particularly when they were a player up for that 10 minutes. They didn't really punish Ballylanders for that yellow.
Yeah, they'll be happy probably with everything that happened in 2/3 of the field. They'll be probably happy with how they defended against Ballylanders. They'll be happy how they worked the ball into the final third, but they certainly won't be happy with their finishing. They certainly won't be happy with their decision making in the final third. I think it has left them down considerably, because certainly in terms of, and I made the point, in terms of possession, like it's a huge advantage to knock it to Monagea.
Yeah, we're back underway here, and Ballylanders looking to draw level, get back in amongst the attacking play. And Laura O'Connor comes back to Cathy Mee. Will she take one on from here? She won't. She checks back, pops it inside to Christy Carroll. Their only scorer so far, and Christy Carroll, 32 seconds gone in the second half. They managed no score from Lay in the first half. They've managed to right that wrong immediately, and Rebecca, that's exactly what I'm sure they were talking about in the huddle. Get on the front foot straight away, and they've done that.
Yeah, definitely, and I suppose that's what we were talking about as well, is just how they recycled the ball in the first half. We didn't think it was a good enough standard, and there you could see they were all looping around. I felt they all wanted the ball, and God, it was a great score.
Great score from Christy Carroll, her fourth off her left foot and first from play, but ball here comes back. Cathy Mee unable to grasp it, and Monagea get away with that one. A bit of a loose pass as Liz Carmody grabs hold of it, and patient attack, you think, again from Ellie Wolfe back to Carmody. Carmody met by a Ballylanders defender. Ball popped out here to Amy Curtin. Curtin has to come back, and she finds Liz Carmody, and Carmody has to come back to Bridget Cahill. Can Cahill switch it? She can, and she switches the ball across the sun-drenched side of the two Gaelic grounds. So chance here now for Katrina Davis. Prefers her right foot, manages to work her way onto it. The shot goes wide, but on the statistics point of view, we won't be counting that because she was playing an advantage, and Kevin O'Brien indicates it's going to be a free in. So we're all level here, and a chance for Katrina Davis to notch her second point of the contest from a free, but difficult enough angle. But Matt, I recall a match. Oh, she goes short. We'll pick that point up in a second. She goes short. Can they work it through the hands? They can. It's around the neck. We may well have a third yellow card for Ballylanders. Another high challenge. They didn't learn from the one before half time, Matt, did they?
No, and this is the second one in Cam, I think, but referee is having a...
Yeah, it's...
Is he going to give a third yellow card? He certainly, all the indications are that he is. He is.
It's number 2.
Are down to 13 players.
Aisling Mead. So,
it looks as if Katrina Davis may also add punishment to this by putting Monagea back into the lead.
Yeah, quick thinking from Davis with the free. She decided it wasn't scoreable, so it went short. And Karen O'Leary, as we've seen so many times, draws a free as the ball is stroked over the bar, and a 5th point of the day for Monagea, a second for Katrina Davis, and indeed, as Matt says, she punishes that foul from Ballylanders. So Ballylanders now with 13 players, they're going to really need to see this 10 minutes or so through and get back up to 15, try and keep themselves in touch, not to let the game get away from them. But chance now for it's just gone in just inside Yeah, it's Deborah Murphy with her second point of the day. Looked to be tailing to the left, but I had enough on it. And her second point, and suddenly we have the largest lead of the match, 2 points. Matt, they probably were told at halftime we didn't make the extra players count, and they're certainly righting that wrong now by making a count early in the second half.
Yeah, they are, Tom, but that score in itself was excellent in creation and execution. The way they moved the ball wide to Katrina Davis, and she spotted the run of Debbie Murphy, and Debbie wasn't going to miss from there. No,
well executed score, so 6 points to 4, and Monagea in possession again. Ballylanders are going to have to work extremely hard. 2 players down in the context of it is a significant handicap, shall we say, for progressing in this game, but Monagea didn't make overly good advantage of it in the first half, so ball switches across to Liz Carmody. Carmody inside, centre forward. Bridget Cahill has threatened all day. Karen O'Leary ships a bit of a challenge. Referee says play on, and Ballylanders going to have to really be confident in possession. Good play, steps inside for Trina O'Donnell. O'Donnell finds her teammate, and the ball, just a bit of a pull there on the corner back, Evelyn Lee, and a chance for Ballylanders to try and work it up the pitch. So by my calculations, there's about 5 minutes left for Maria Murphy in the bin, and there's about 7 or 8 then for the other Ballylanders player, that's Aisling Mead. So no Ballylanders player apart from Andrea Sullivan now in the other half of the pitch, so Monagea can launch an attack of their own. Switched across here. It's a dangerous enough pass, it must be said. Gathered this time by Kate Geary. Finds its way back out. Can they extend that lead further back to Bridget Cahill? Cahill looks for Katrina Davis on the loop. Good interchange, but Davis's shot had the shape, but nowhere near the length on it, or indeed the distance. As Ballylanders really struggling for options when in possession. This is with corner forward Laura O'Connor, all the way back there, turned over by Amy Curtin. Curtin switches across to Laura Walsh. Switch inside to Deborah Murphy. Can she add a third point? Murphy jinks one way, jinks the other, and straight over the black spot. Exactly what she wants to do. Rebecca, she's wearing number 5, but she's pretty much an attacking wing back. She's defining that role this afternoon.
Yeah, 100%, and you can see how Monagea have spoke about at half-time, I'd say, what they're going to do since Ballylanders were down a player, and now that they're down 2, Monagea have really pushed up. They've literally one-on-one back here, and you can see Laurie O'Connor's just kind of holding around her own 65, so I think it's working a treat for them, just really pushing on, like we spoke about, like if there was a lack of fear, afraid to go for it, but they're really going for it now.
Yeah, Andrea Sullivan is racing towards that one, but it's her teammate Mairead Ryan who picks it up instead. Ryan, as Rebecca mentioned, won the Clare Intermediate Camogie Championship yesterday with Clooney Quinn, so a busy weekend for her. Not going her way so far here, but time to right that wrong, and a foul there by Andrea Sullivan. She throws the ball away in protest, and well, referees really don't like that level of dissent. She dipped her head, says the referee, and Matt, Ballylanders really up against it now.
Yeah, that is frustration again, because when Andrea there had the ball, one good possession over there, but when she looked around, because they're numerically challenged at the moment, because they're down two in number, there just wasn't a white shirt there to give it to.
Yeah, we have a chance here. Karen O'Leary bearing down a goal, just about good defending there from Katie O'Connor, and that was a real, I suppose, potential opening there for a goal. We've yet to see either goalkeeper really worked, as Katrina Davis fouls Ballylanders defender, and the ball is with Anya McGrath. McGrath goes inside, another advantage coming here, and Ballylanders just going to have to try and inch their way up the field. See can they get a second point of the second half. 3 points to 1 since the interval. As slow, patient build up from Ballylanders. Have to be accurate here. 2 extra players for Monagea for another couple of minutes. I suppose the sin bin was brought in there to stop such fouls, as a couple of high challenges and effectively a rugby tackle. Referee probably right to go to his book, as joint captain Cathy Mee leads the charge up the middle. They have nobody inside. The ball is going to have to be played short into challenges, and Yvonne Lee is, I think, the guilty party this time, as Deborah Murphy tends to her on the floor, but it's a free in favour of Ballylanders. Yeah, Yvonne Lee the two Lees very much involved in the heavy challenges today as Yvonne gets treatment from the physio. Ballylanders just need to hang in there until they get their full complement back. Another few minutes before that happens. I see Martin O'Sullivan and his backroom team discussing potential changes. Matt, subs proved important in the first game, and I think they could prove important here too. You know, fresh legs and you know, when there's been so many games for players in both codes, that fresh legs could prove vital down the stretch.
Yeah, it could be hugely important, and plus the fact that there's a certain level of dampness in the ground, which is energy sapping out there, and by God, you can't have same, but those that have been out there in the field have given it everything, Tom. So you're right, it's going to be important, and it may come down to who has the better bench coming into the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, for now, Ballylanders leaving it as is, as Cathy Mee just skews that one out over the line. She'll be disappointed with that as Deborah Murphy gets on with the line ball, and straight away Van Lee goes inside to Kate Geary. Geary, it's a bit of a 3-on-1, probably not used to having so much time at times on the ball, and they do indeed, and switched across to Deborah Murphy. 3 points to her name so far. Just has bundles of energy, bundles of pace, and she gets it back from Davis. Gives it to Davis instead. She looked to have a pop, but they're just waiting for that opening. Again, that's 15 or so passes, and there's going to be a free in. And the scoreboard, if this goes over, Rebecca, the scoreboard really is it's going to be in their favour. I mean, it's been such a low scoring contest. To go 4 points up at this juncture would be very important.
Yeah, definitely. Like I thought, Monagea are playing very, very well, and they have their player now back on the pitch, so they're back up to 14.
Back up to 14. Oh, they're making a sub here as well. It's Mags Fruin. Yeah, they're back up to 14, and they're also making a sub. But and just confirm who's gone off there. Indeed, I see it. Yeah, 13. Laura O'Connor has done all she can for this afternoon. She's replaced by Mags Fruin. So fresh legs for Ballylanders as Katrina Davis with the familiar stance over the football. 25 metres or so out. It's going to be low, and it's saved. Did threaten a goal, accidentally or otherwise, but saved out for a 45. I think that's the first in this game. 41 minutes on the clock. And I'd be interested to see what Monagea can work from here. Don't think they have someone who's interested in trying to kick this over the bar. Karen has to be reminded that it's off the ground, and she pops it outside to Liz Carmody, so they're going to try and work it from here. So Ballylanders not too far away from going back to the full complement. They'd happy enough if they were only 3 points down at the end of that period, as the ball is sent in over. Oh no, it's not. It's to the left from Grace Lee. First wide of the second half from Monagea. So what do Ballylanders have in response? Matt, Ballylanders, if they can get through that period, 3 points down, one score game, they'd probably have taken that 10 minutes ago, would they?
They certainly would, you know, they certainly would. And how Monagea are not 4 points at least ahead, I don't know. They certainly don't know. I don't know if anybody knows, because like it was a scoreable free, and then there was a second chance and it was kicked away. You know, if Bally, you know, will be very, very happy to be in the position they won't be happy to be 3 points down, but given the circumstances in which they've had to play 30 minutes with 14 players, they'll be quite happy enough, I would imagine.
Here's Mags Fruin into the action. Her first involvement. Goes outside to the captain, Cathy Mee. Mee just slowing it down here. No real runners in behind for her, so she has to go back. Christy Carroll solos it off her left foot. Takes the bounce. Ambitious hand pass. It's going all the way in. There's a chance of her opening goal of the game. It's poked to the back of the net. We're level. Leisha Brown. Well, Matt, to say that was an ambitious hand pass is putting it mildly, but it found its way through. And the poacher's instinct, maybe a bit of soccer, as you mentioned with Leisha Brown. She just stroked it under the goalkeeper. What a turn of events.
Yeah, it was the soccer players and the poachers finishing.
And now they're up to 15, Matt.
It's all coming back now for Ballylanders. They're back to 15 players, so it's game on.
Yeah, they actually profited from that 15 minutes by a point, so having started the second half, well, a point down, they're now level. So all to play for here. The volume has certainly gone up in the Gaelic grounds, and a free now for Ballylanders. Their support are directly beneath us here in the Mackey stand. They're making themselves heard. Well, just as we were beginning to write their obituary, they found their way back in. And Rebecca, like, Monagea seemed well defensively set, but the hand pass just found its way through.
Yeah, they did, and I suppose we spoke about how Monagea had committed all their players forward, and I think they just got a good run. But one thing about Ballylanders, they never looked like they were panicking. Do you know, they were just playing it around, and then eventually Christy, like we spoke about in the first half, just taking their time, and eventually Christy Carroll gave a great ball to Cataney, and it was just like the runners, and again, hand pass with a bit ambitious, but look, a little bit of luck on the day.
Absolutely, you make your luck in these situations, and well, Monagea backs against the wall now, 15 on 15. Ballylanders will hope to keep their discipline for the last quarter as Deborah Murphy ships another heavy challenge. Injection of pace there, but she's demanding more from her teammates. Well, it's hard not to feel the tension and the suspense now in the two Gaelic rounds. It's certainly reached a new level in the last few minutes. Level game. Who would have thought it when down to 13 that Ballylanders would find themselves in a much better position just 43 or 4 minutes into the second half. We're nearing that first half water break. Maybe Monagea will use that to reset, but between now and then they have a chance as Karen O'Leary looks to get past the white wall. She comes back inside to Liz Carmody. Can they build it again? And it's Deborah Murphy. There's plenty of players out on the right hand side, but that pass is going to be won by the fullback, Trina O'Donnell. O'Donnell checks back, goes inside, and they can carry the ball away. So can Ballylanders get into the lead? They haven't led since the second minute when they scored the first point of the game. Great block down there, but it finds its way back to Liz Carmody and Deborah Murphy. Murphy straight into the hand of Katrina Davis. Davis with a diagonal ball towards Karen O'Leary. O'Leary snaps it, chance of a goal. O'Leary! Well, whatever they can do at one end, Monagea can reply at the other. There is the water break. Matt, what a pass by Katrina Davis. She spotted the runner and the finish then to match. Brilliant.
Absolutely. And to come, and you know, there was a defender coming across, but by God, did Cam put the bit between her teeth. There was nobody getting that ball but Karen O'Leary, and the finish was just absolutely sublime. I suppose it's the perfect response. Now Ballylanders, after getting the goal and having been restored to 15 players, look to have got a spring in their step. Now it may be turning in favour of Monagea, but you know, it might be just the right time. Because they won't have the opportunity to build on the momentum of a goal, and the Ballylanders will get a chance here now for 2 minutes to regroup. But Tom, what a goal.
Yeah, goal of the highest quality. Katrina Davis didn't look for her own score, she looked for the run of Karen O'Leary, who grabbed it, so used her pace to get in behind, grabbed it and just slotted it into the far corner. Brilliant goal. And well, Rebecca, it's a roller coaster of emotions. I know you said you played a bit of underage with Monagea, but as a neutral, which I'm sure you are here today, it's, you know, it's real topsy-turvy stuff, and there's still loads more can happen in the next 15 minutes or so.
Definitely, and like I suppose the football quality has been very good. Like Deborah Murphy gave that pass to Katrina Davis, went straight into the hands. Davis looked up straight through the middle. Like, you know, again, we're talking about the wit. Like, that's the only way you're going to get through teams. Like Katrina Davis kicked that out nearly by the sideline, and Karen just was bursting through the middle and into the back of the net. Like, that's what we've been talking about, and we said they'd get through, and they have, you know.
Yeah, two expertly taken kick passes, one around the 65 into Katrina Davis's hand, turned right-footed into the run of Karen O'Leary, and well, she made no mistake and slotted the ball beyond the advancing Orla Moriarty. So 1-7, 1-4.
I suppose there's a bit about it, Tom, that we haven't seen anything yet. There's 15 minutes to go, and there's
we're only getting warmed up here now, Matt.
The water break was blown just under 46 minutes, so we have a good 14 minutes plus injury to look forward to.
Yeah, and I must say credit to both sets of supporters. Ballylanders, they conceded a goal there, but their support could be heard loud and proud as they cheered their team in for that water break, so they know there's more in them. And Monagea similar as they prepare, looks like, or they have already made a sub, as Ella Whelan has been replaced, and number 26 has come in. So that is Quiva Smith. So Ella Whelan, 2 points to her name in the opening half. Hasn't really happened for her in this half, but a chance now for Quiva Smith to become a bit of a county final hero, as they lead by 3. So Moriarty with the kick out. Possession so important from all of these kick outs. There's just a slight delay here. Just to confirm the substitutions, I think. And we're back underway. Cathy Mee marching up the middle. Will we have another twist and turn in the next couple of minutes? Cathy Mee goes beyond a couple of challenges. She's unceremoniously stopped in her tracks. Will Kevin O'Brien go to the book? He's certainly going to tick the player here. Yeah, as Rebecca says to me, it could be yellow. Well, he's let her off there. Von Lee counts herself lucky there, Rebecca?
Yeah, I think so. Just as the way he's been given the yellow cards, I think the Ballylanders, like at the end of the day, I suppose Cathy was going through. Like at the end, if that was a male, the males, it would have been classed as a pull down. So it would have been a black card. So you'd wonder. Yeah,
it would have been in the cynical category.
Yeah. So I think she got away lucky with that one.
Yeah, maybe one more for her, and she'll find herself watching from the Mackey stand like ourselves. But a chance now for Christy Carroll, 43 or so metres out. Could be on the edge of her. Well, she's put plenty on that. Wow, that is an awesome kick. I wasn't sure would she have the distance. I was proven well and truly wrong, Matt. That was a fantastically taken free.
Absolutely fantastic, because it was, as you said, Tom, not far short of 45 metres, and it was an excellent kick, and there was plenty left in it, in that it was well over the bar.
Well, they know they have that in their arsenal now as they head down the stretch, so Monagea will want to be careful not to foul in around that area, because Christy Carroll, who has four frees and a point from play, 5 to her name, so she has that in her trusty left foot. As the ball comes back, Bridget Cahill been very busy today, as Deborah Murphy knocks it into the substitute Quiva Smith. Smith is dispossessed, and the referee decides that Smith has fouled her defender, and Ballylanders can build once again. So a 2-point game, delicately poised as it was the intermediate final, but a strong last quarter from Drum Broadford. Monagea will be hoping that they can do something similar like their western rivals, but a chance now with Bridget Cahill up the middle. Bridget Cahill solos it high, hand is out, advantage given. Carr inside to Andrea Sullivan. Andrea Sullivan has it in hand. Andrea Sullivan, what's a great save! Janet Garvey with the save, and this roller coaster continues to churn out results. 45 is going to be the result. And Matt, we could have had another lead change and another chance for Ballylanders, but in fairness to Janet Garvey, she didn't commit. She stood up well and got 2 hands to Andrea Sullivan's shot.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an excellent move by Ballylanders. A fine save by Janet Garvey. As you said, she held her ground. But having said that, Andrea Sullivan did everything right, and it just gives you an idea of the threat that Ballylanders are carry. Actually, what we're seeing as this half has been progressing is we have seen the growing influence of Cathy Mee, which we were talking about from the start, and in particular Leisha Brown.
Yeah, well, a chance now for I think Mairead Ryan is over this. She's not even thinking about looking at the post, so she's going to see can someone make a run for her. Physio's on the way off here, so ball just poked in towards the corner, and there's the run there of Maria Murphy. It's all the way out to that touchline. Referee says play on. Bit of a scrum developing there, and it's a white shirt that comes up with it. Ball recycled back. It's going back here. Andrea O'Sullivan, good hands from O'Sullivan. Dispossessed though. Into a sea of bodies went that ball, and out comes the Monagea women, and the chance now. Bridget Cahill back there involved in it. Out here to Amy Curtin. Curtin twists and turns. Curtin finds herself on the deck. Just might have been tripped there by Rose Highland. They don't agree, those from the South Limerick club, but nevertheless a chance for I think that's one way of putting it, Matt. They don't agree. They weren't too happy with that decision, but I think she was tripped.
No, the Ballylanders bench are seriously upset over that decision.
Well, we have a Monagea player on the deck here. I'm not sure what's happened, but the referee is right beside her. as Bridget Cahill. There's tension here, Matt, to say the least. I think everyone would be wise to just count to 5 maybe and try and relax themselves a little, but easier said than done in a county final day.
Maybe at this stage, and meeting some of the people before I came up and when I went down there at half time, there's certain element of tension among the supporters as well. So, we're in a small bit of a powder keg situation, but let's hope we'll get out of it. And as you say, that people will take a step back and that common sense will prevail. Although I don't think it's that near to boiling over. It's just a product of the level of intensity that we had during the game, and a product of how close the game is.
Yeah, and we're back underway as Amy Curtin carries the ball into Karen O'Leary. Lovely interchange of passes. O'Leary has it again. A goal to her name already. Can she add to that? Good defensive work there. A couple of Ballylanders players come back. She's going to win the free. A hand in there, a loose hand in there, and Kevin O'Brien says that's going to be a free. So a chance for Katrina Davis to add to her tally, and Rebecca, you wouldn't really back against her from here, so to put them back 3 ahead would be crucial now down the stretch.
Yeah, definitely. I think Monagea, I think Karen has a lot of experience. I think going through there, she knew that if she could just meet a defender and she draw a foul, whereas I think up here Ballylanders are a little bit more naive, you could say, and they're literally they're running in and they're not being as cute as Monagea players are. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with Rebecca there, and the influence of Karen O'Leary. She was involved in that move twice, and she took it into contact on the hope of winning the free, and it came off.
Yeah, and good kick out there from Moriarty, which finds Andrea O'Sullivan. Unlucky not to get a goal a couple of minutes ago. She may need to register one of those if our side are to draw a level or indeed win this county final. As Karen O'Leary thought the free was taken. Just killing the momentum a bit, getting her teammates get their breath back, get their position back. They have more or less 14 players now in their own half. As that ball brought slightly forward there, as Christy Carroll gets on it. Able to solo with either foot is Christy, and she skips back on, does prefer the left, so that's what she was looking for there, but skips back inside as Maria Murphy finds Cathy Me. 3 or 4 defenders in her wake, so has to check back, shouts the steps, but has to recycle it again. And Mairead Ryan goes across to Christy Carroll. Carroll, lovely little pass there from Carroll. Just brought into traffic there. Ooh, she is fouled there. And Matt, I think I've seen a free from this position a few minutes ago, so she's more than capable of scoring this, but she needs to nail it now, because we're at the championship minutes, really, the crucial stages of this game. Yeah,
we're into the home straight now, Tom. We're into the last 7 minutes. By the time she has it taken, it's practically identical to where she nailed the last one, and she nailed the last one with some ease, as we reflected, Tom, and we're just waiting for it to happen.
This one has a little bit less height in it, but it has enough to go straight over the bar. I must say, as a man who took 1 or 2 frees in my day and put a few wide too, I know a good free when I see one. That was pretty well taken. 5 frees now in a point from play, so 6 of the 1-6 has come from the left boot of Christy Carroll as a substitution comes in from Monagea, and it's number 24 on this occasion, and that's Aisling Corbett. Yeah, Aisling Corbett is coming into the action. Typo on the programme there, but it's Aisling Corbett who comes in for free taker Katrina Davis. So Katrina Davis's race is run as Aisling Corbett enters the fray. So again, 2-point game, so a goal could swing it either way now, as plenty of pressure put on Deborah Murphy. Ball check back inside, finds its way to Laurie O'Connor. Again, they find their way out of trouble, as another high challenge there on Murphy, but she gets on with it. Just slows the tempo and gives it out to Liz Carmody, to Grace Lee, and that's popped up to Ellie Wolfe to Bridget Cahill, and Cahill has been in loads of possession today and has made good use of a lot of it. Goes back inside, Laurie Walsh, and Cahill once again. 5.5 minutes of normal time. This is Corbett now, Aisling Corbett into the action, sends a low ball inside, but it's picked up by Monagea. Sorry, that's in fact Corbett in the action. Comes back inside, chance now for Bridget Cahill. Cahill unable to grasp it. Referee gives a free out, and a chance that goes to begging. So Ballylanders can come away with it. Rebecca, it's important that Monagea, while they're 2 points ahead, don't sit back on this lead. They have to try and play as they have been driving forward, taking the lead, as in taking the charge to Ballylanders. Don't sit back and invite pressure.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And like Ballylanders last few times, every time they've made an attack, well, I've just jinxed them there nearly now, but I was going to say every time they've made an attack, they've got a free or they've drawn something. So Monagea are better off probably just keep possession now and to be 100% sure, take a shot, and if it goes wide, it goes wide, but just make sure the ball goes dead so it stops Ballylanders from that quick
counter-attack. Yeah. So 2 point game, delicately poised, and Monagea want to stay on the front foot, but a rare time this Karen O'Leary turns over the ball, and a chance now. Andrea O'Sullivan goes past a couple of challenges. Good tackle there by Roisin Brown, dispossesses her opponent, and she looks to have been fouled, but referee says play on as Deborah Murphy gets a hold of it. Murphy to Liz Carmody. Carmody, lovely little solo from Carmody, skips by Cathy Mee as once again Bridget Cahill is involved in it, just knows when to slow the tempo and when to increase it as Deborah Murphy gets possession of it. Back to Cahill. Great running off the ball, off the shoulders, it must be said, from Monagea, as a 50-50 clash there. Two players on the deck, the referee stops it. Not an awful lot in that. Both players' eyes for the ball, and I suppose both of them desperately need a bit of attention.
Unfortunately, it was an undercooked pass, and both of them were going for it, but
a hospital pass, you may say, in the context. Hopefully we won't be going that far, as in both players will be okay, but it invited the tackle and then it became a 50-50.
It did. Karen O'Leary seems to be okay. She's up and small bit shaken, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know who's down for Ballylanders. Yeah.
Mairead Ryan, Rebecca thinks beside me here. So the Red Cross have gone in with the stretcher. This is not a good look, but there's going to be a change on Ballylanders' team, as number 19 is Anya Blade is being prepared, so she's coming into the action. I think it indeed is Mairead Ryan that's on the deck, so hopefully she's okay. The Red Cross are in, so about 3 minutes of normal time left plus stoppages, so we still have a decent amount of time left to run in this. So we hope both players are okay. Karen is getting a little bit more treatment. There's absolutely no rush of this. No one's in a rush out of here. We want to ensure both players are okay before we do indeed resume. And good to have plenty of medical attention, physios on both sides, and the Red Cross here today.
It looks as if it is Mairead Ryan, it looks as if she's getting up, I think, is she?
Yeah, she seems to be sitting up. Yeah. Bit of a gash to the head there, so thankfully both players are now sitting on the surface out there. Elsewhere, the rest of the teams in respective huddles, some description on the field, so just a chance for them to.
Hopefully, it may not necessitate the use of the stretcher, which they carried out there very, very quickly, but that might have been mainly precautionary. But it looks as if Ballylanders are sending in Anya Blade.
Well, Ella Whelan has been prepared for Monagea, so she already was substituted off early in the second half, so she looks to be coming back into the fray. And as we said already, Anya Blade in for Ballylanders, so
Yeah, it seems to have been a clash of heads because both girls are back up, thankfully, and it looks as if both of them are coming off actually.
Both heavily bandaged around the head area.
Yes.
And as I said at the time, Matt, completely a 50-50. Both players, you know, as has been, I suppose, the ilk of this game, both players just going for it, blood and thunder, as you'd expect no less. And
well, you would expect from both players, hugely influential for their respective sides. So it looks as if.
I'd say Karen's there arguing, saying, why can't she go back on that? She's fine. But I'd say they have to take the right precaution,
So she seems to be insisting on going back on, but the Red Cross are having none of it. So thankfully both players able to walk off the pitch.
Karen is not too happy and is prepared to remonstrate with anybody that's prepared to listen, including the unfortunate linesman, and she was passing. So
and
Mairead Ryan is more.
Mairead Ryan has also been replaced. So Anya Blade for Mairead Ryan and Ella Whelan in for Karen O'Leary. Two players having impressive games, it must be said, so their sides must progress without them. As there's another pull down there. The referee maybe just going to note and player there. There's Anya Blade's first involvement is to pull a player to the ground.
You would have to say, Tom, that the game has been robbed of two very influential players coming into this crucial stage. This crucial.
I just cut across you there, Matt, because Anya Blade, who replaced Mairead Ryan, has yet to touch the ball, and she's been sin bin because she's pulled down a Monagea player, and about 60 seconds after being introduced or thereabouts, she finds herself in the sin bin. So her county final, I would suspect, is pretty much over. Very disappointing for her. So once again, a fourth yellow card for Ballylanders, and once again down to 14. They're going to have to summon something from the spectacular, I think, from here, Matt, to turn this one around.
Yeah, it's probably into the territory of throwing caution to the wind now at this stage, you know, because this is 40 minutes practically that Ballylanders will have played with less than a full complement of players.
Yeah, and it's overcarried here, so a chance for. Oh, she dipped the shoulder in fact.
Blatant free there.
A chance for Ballylanders to get up that field. A green flag would completely swing it their way, but we're not sure what additional time we're going to have. It's overcarried, and a chance now for Monagea to add to their lead. They're just going to drop the tempo here a little bit as Grace Lee stands over the free. They're going to have to. Lee looking backwards, and she finds Liz Carmody. Carmody back to Lee, and just trying to find a navy shirt all the time. As Deborah Murphy, composed on the ball, finds Yvonne Lee. Will she be collecting that silverware in a few minutes? You'd certainly think they would at this point, but Ballylanders are going to try and do a thing or two about that. As comes back to Laurie O'Connor, and cries for Monagea to get out of there and switch the ball across to this left-hand side. Ball drop down in front of us here. Can they work a score from here? It's Amy Curtin. Curtin into substitute. Aisling Corbett, and Corbett is fouled. So now there's a chance. 64 minutes on the clock for Monagea to extend it to 3 points. Ballylanders are going to have to try and work this ball the whole way up the field, whether this goes over or wide. They're just going to have to try and, as you say, throw caution to the wind. They have, and this is a crucial free now, and you just wonder with your regular free taken off the field, who's stepping up to it. It's Aisling Corbett. Roisin Corbett is prepared to come in. Aisling Corbett, put it over the bar. Well taken score. 3 points in it. Substitution as another Corbett comes in. Roisin, that is now. Roisin is coming in. Just see who's going to come off for her there. Well, players didn't hear the whistle. Christy Carroll is going to have to give it back to the goalkeeper. As we confirm, Roisin Corbett replaces Amy Curtin. Amy Curtin's day is done. So Rebecca, again, Monagea just want to stay in the front foot and not let Ballylanders get up the field. Yeah, definitely, and it's kind of hard to see how Ballylanders come back now unless they get a goal. But you can never say it's done until he blows that whistle. Yeah. As Andrea O'Sullivan gets hold of it, Christy Carroll on the ground as O'Sullivan is fouled, and again we have bodies on the deck and a chance.
I think if it ends in a draw, we go to extra time, do we?
I think so. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Ballylanders would bite your hand off for extra time or a replay or whatever they could get from here. As Andrea Sullivan is now on the deck, and there's a player from Monagea also on the floor. So we've nearly 6 minutes of stoppage time play. The Ballylanders management not too happy with the card count against them. In fairness to Kevin O'Brien, he's done his best to let things go, and when he's had to call upon the card, he has. But 4-0 on that count in favour of not in favour, but 4 for Ballylanders and none for Monagea, as Kevin O'Brien orders the Ballylanders management off the pitch. A difficult job, it must be said, to officiate a county final. So 1-score game. Ballylanders going to try and push everyone, all 14 that they have on the field, up the pitch and try and work something from here.
Yeah, it possibly would go to replay, Tom, because I'm just looking here at the fixture list for Munster, and the Limerick champions are not in action until the last weekend of the month, when they take on the winners of the first round between Clare and Cork.
Okay, so bit of a break for whoever does emerge victorious here, and
yeah, it's Camogie. Camogie would be dedicated to next weekend, and as I was saying, discussing it with the ladies' football downstairs before I came up, the junior finals are scheduled for this day 2 weeks, so it might dovetail in with those.
Yeah, must be said, Monagea very, very close to breaking their duck. County finalists last year, beaten by 9 points to 1-4 against St. Ailbe's. It was a stoppage time point from Emer Ryan in 2019 that broke their hearts in Bruff. 3-8 to 3-7 in St. Ailbe's favour, and runners-up also in 2017. So they'll be looking to end this as Grace Lee, I believe, hobbles out of the action. I'm not sure who has exactly come in for her, but so she hobbles out of the contest, as Christy Carroll is also to her feet. Players leaving it all out on the pitch, it must be said. We're going to resume now. We've 7.5 minutes, so we haven't played many of that 7.5. It's been very, very stop-start. As a sub comes in here now, as Joanna Kelly enters the action for Ballylanders. Who's gone off now? I'm not sure. Oh, Andrea Sullivan is going to hobble off. So that's 2 incidents in the last few minutes. We've lost 4 of the influential players in this contest. Andrea Sullivan, much like Karen O'Leary, not too happy to be coming off, but in fairness to her, she's a heavy limp there. So an impressive performance from O'Sullivan. Unlucky not to get a goal earlier in the contest, and she'll be hoping her side can respond now with a goal that would send this game level. Christy Carroll. So 14 players of Ballylanders against the 15 of Monagea. They're all more or less now in the Monagea half. The ball is with Ballylanders for a free. Rebecca, not too many Ballylanders players up the field, is there? They've a lot of players behind the ball still.
No, not really. And I suppose they're kind of, it looks like they don't all want it either. Like there's only a few, but another heavy hit there. Yeah,
we're going to have a yellow card, I'm pretty sure now. It's Bridget Cahill who just unceremoniously stopped the attack there, and she's going to be the 5th player in this contest into the sin bin, and the first from Monagea. So I'm pretty sure Kevin O'Brien will confirm that for me. He does, and there is the yellow card. So her county final, you'd think, is over, certainly in this normal time period anyway. And Monagea just can't sit back here and invite the ball into their 20-metre line. Something could happen in there as a chance now. Maria Murphy over the free, gives it to Christy Carroll, has much a longer boot on it. I'm absolutely no idea how long is left. She goes backwards with the ball. We've played 70 minutes now. Something similar happened in the 2019 final. The ball is turned over here now. Monagea, can they keep possession of it, work the ball up the field and get this one over? They can't. They cough it up again, and it's Ciara O'Riordan. O'Riordan is fouled. You think, Matt, the last free went backwards, this one has to go forward, has to go
it
towards
has,
goal.
But if you look, when she took that free just this minute, there wasn't a single Monagea player outside their own 45.
Yeah, as Monagea have everyone back. 14 on 14. Chance here now. Catty Mee. Can she go through the sea of Monagea bodies? She has to go back. She hops it. She solos it. She hops it again. No, the referee's blown the whistle. He's blown the whistle. The ball is in the net. And she has deemed to have overcarried. And in fairness to him, Matt, he had blown the whistle before the shot was taken. I will give him that. But in the excitement beneath us, they haven't realised that. Drama again as this game goes on. We're now over the 70th minute mark. That could have been the levelling score. In fairness, the goalkeeper did leave it off as the shot came in. So as Deborah Murphy guides it there, Christy Carroll clashes with her. Christy Carroll is involved in a bit of afters there with Deborah Murphy. Murphy is on the deck, and Carroll would be wise to walk away from it and let the game continue.
We're actually 11 minutes now over the regulation time, Tom.
And the game is over. After 71 minutes of action, Monagea are county champions for 2021, winning out 1-9 to 1-6. A game of high drama that ebbed and flowed. It was Monagea by a point at the interval. Ballylanders drew level with a goal, but the goal from Karen O'Leary swung the thing back, the momentum back in Monagea's favour, and from there they've seen it out with a trio of with a couple of points. 8 points, or 1-8 to 1-5. They're county champions. Heartbreak for Ballylanders, looking to add to their 3 in a row that they won in 2015, 16 and 17. Unable to do so, but Monagea, Matt, you'd have to feel glad for Monagea on a certain level, in the fact that, you know, they had such heartbreak in the last few years that they've finally got over the line. They've kept knocking at the door, and now they've knocked the door down effectively.
They have, and I suppose you'd have to say in general that they deserved it. But you'd also have to add that, you know, that Ballylanders to a certain degree were the architects of their own downfall. Like if you have 4 players sin-binned in a county final, not a very good idea, Tom, as you would appreciate. And in the circumstances, I suppose, full credit to Ballylanders for hanging in there and making a right good game of it. Now, we spoke and eulogised to a certain degree about the intensity of it, possibly for the first 45 minutes. But it certainly after that it became very, very, very scrappy, and it's something of a disappointing end to the finish, to the game at the finish. Rebecca pointed out there, and was absolutely correct about the tension there was around the place. It was not just confined to inside the white line. It was here on the sideline. It permeated here into the stand. But just one thing that I did notice, despite the competitiveness of the game, despite the disallowed goal at the very, very end, full credit to Ballylanders managers, Mike McCarthy and Owen Martin. They went straight up and shook the hands of Martin O'Sullivan and Mike Quilligan, their opposite numbers for Monagea, and that to me is the essence of sport.
Yeah, and great to see both sides more or less interlocked there in a circle on the between the 65 and the 45. So fantastic to see. I'm sure they know each other from the numerous battles down the year through other codes and through other walks of life. So great to see such a sporting climax to a game that had unfortunately a number of injuries laid on. We hope that the 4 players who hobbled out of this contest are okay going forward, and commiserations to Ballylanders, so who've narrowly been beaten here. I'm sure they'll be back. They have plenty of talent, it must be said, in their side, and Monagea finally getting over the line. That's 3 county titles for them now, 2014, 2018 and 2021. So gaps between them all, but they've kept coming and they've got their rewards. Rebecca, sum it up for me. Where do you think this game was won from a Monagea point of view?
I just think from the get-go, really, Monagea put down a marker from the word go. We always said in the first half that they should have been up more, and then I just think in the second half they got their points, although Ballylanders, I thought, really pushed them to the end. And I think if Ballylanders, like towards the end there, they were going at Catty got the ball and showed great intent, like going for it, you'd wonder if they brought that from the word go, you know, from the very first start. But I just want to say some of them girls had lost 2 county finals last year. They lost one the camogie and one the football, and like, you know, I'd say they couldn't think about being there now next year, and then the year comes around again. So just fair play to them and hard luck to Ballylanders.
Yeah,
I'm sure Rebecca will be very interested here now, because Monagea have put quite a few of them are on the precipice of completing a unique she's laughing here at me now, and a unique football and camogie double, Rebecca.
Yeah, once all of them are fine anyway, not injured, like we see Grace come off and Karen go off, so once they're fine now for next Sunday, we'll be happy.
Well, if Karen O'Leary's attitude is anything to go by, she'll be first person on the pitch next week, because she didn't want to come off here despite shipping a nasty enough gash to their head. Their captain Yvonne Lee, I think, has made her way up the steps of the Mackey stand. She's going to collect the cup beneath us here. And Deborah Murphy, with her 3 points, got player of the match. We'll just see, can we listen into a bit of this? Yeah, so Deborah Murphy confirmed as the man of the match. Congratulations to Deborah. A great performance from number 5 at wing back, 3 points. So a nice little award for her to go on the mantelpiece, along with a county title. So one. So 1,045 the confirmed attendance here. A great showing from across both contests. So Yvonne Lee lifts the Limerick pre-dental Limerick Ladies Football Championship title. So congratulations to her, to manager Martin O'Sullivan, Maria Curtin, Michael Killigan, Jolie, James Kelly, Owen Hurley and Barry all here, the back-end team, all taking part. There's only one Monagea, says Ryan Lee and their teammates. That's all we have time for as Monagea are county champions. 3-point victory in the A. I'm sure they'll sing long into the night. Commiserations once again to Ballylanders. That's all we have time for here on Sporting Limerick. Thank you for joining us for both the intermediate and the senior finals. We'll have reaction from both camps later today or maybe early tomorrow. Look at them, enjoy it. Thank you very much. I've been Tom Clancy. I'm joined by Matt O'Callaghan and Rebecca DeLee for this senior final. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again soon.